right here, take your boat.
Now, not a lot of people want to go underwater, stick their hands in a hole where they can't see anything, and get bit by something, you know, and that's basically what it is.
Funding for this program was provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Where's that second hole at, man? Where's that other hole at?
Right there.
Oh, boy. Oh, he's in that. Oh.
Oh, you hurt.
Growing up in Oklahoma, some of my favorite childhood memories are fishing with my dad and my brother. We'd go wading through farm ponds and small creeks. That's the kind of stuff I live for. Everyone in my family loved to fish, but we always used fishing poles. I'd never heard of fishing with your hands.
You just reach in with your hand, that fish is going 9 times out of 10, he's going to bite you.
When I was 14, I attended a family reunion in southern Oklahoma. This is where I first met my noodling cousins. They told me wild stories about wrestling huge catfish and showed me their scarred forearms. These images stayed with me for years. Although I never imagined myself noodling and had lost contact with any distant noodling relatives, I was still strangely fascinated with the idea of using your hands as bait and determined to find out more about these men.
Need nothing but hands. Give them your sticks.
Let's go.
Take their weapons.
Let's go.
You ever heard of noodling?
I noodled years ago.
Oh, really?
Some Oklahomans have heard of noodling, but only a handful of brave men still practice this lost art. And finding them was a true challenge.
A little too slow for that noodling now. Do you noodle?
Noodlers go back to the same catfish nesting holes each year and don't like sharing their locations.
Oh, noodling's kind of a secretive deal. You know, you can get a bunch of noodlers together and you can talk all day long with other noodlers. And they'll say, well, I'd come out and go with you one of these times. You say, well, yeah, we have no intention of taking him where you're at. But, you know, you don't want him to know your spots, and he's not going to take you to his spots.
I grew up in Oklahoma. Nobody I knew noodled, at least nobody that admitted to doing it. I think it's the kind of thing, it's a little bit like cockfighting. It's something that's going on all the time, but nobody really talks about it.
In Oklahoma, as far as Title 29 state statute goes, noodling is defined as fishing by method of hands only. When I say hands only, I mean without the use of a hook, any type of grappling hook, spear gun. Anything other than your hands only is considered illegal in the state of Oklahoma.
Hand fishing. It's a fun way for father and son to cool off in the hot summer months. It usually takes two to do a little battle with these ill-bred bottom feeders. Our noodlers wade along the shore in search of catfish nests and holes. Then once found, the noodler wiggles his digits and to entice the catfish into chomping its sandpaper-like teeth right down into the fisherman's flesh. clumsy. Now that's some god doggone good noodling.
You know anybody that noodles?
Yeah, stick your hand in their mouth.
Back home, we call it grabbling. Catfish, back up in Tennessee, McNairy County. But I never heard it called noodling until I got down here.
Probably the only one I know in town here is Dick Bishop. He does a lot of noodling, but that's the only one I know. He might be down at the park too, but I don't know his address or nothing.
You ever tried it yourself?
No.
Why not?
I ain't about to do that.
Run your hand in the mouth, pull them out on the bank.
To noodle?
Yeah.
An idiot. Yeah. She's not very smart.
Why not?
It's not my favorite thing to do.
Oh, really?
No,
Why not?
because I can afford a fishing pole now. Going under.
You holding him under, Red? What's the deal?
Oh, I'm just kind of touching him. See if he does get some fish.
This is Red and his nephew David. They were the first noodlers we met willing to take us fishing.
Okay, I'm gonna go in there, stick my leg in there, kick him to the side, and go run up by your foot. Hopefully I'll grab him.
Yeah.
They travel by boat, noodling the clear rock-bottom lakes of the Wichita Mountains. David hopes to someday teach his son to noodle.
I just want to get out here and enjoy the lake, be around the water, because I don't think you can go wrong teaching a kid how to fish or spending time with him at the lake. I really don't want to get into sports because I hear too many stories of games tonight, games tomorrow night, finals tonight and whatever, and that involves a lot of time away from the lake. And I sure hate to miss a lot of that.
Oh no, my kids ain't going out there either. Nope. Honestly, I will not even get in the water anymore.
Why?
Because too many big fish.
Yeah, it's almost like if something comes natural to you, just like, say you can play the piano without being really taught. Yeah, it's just something that kind of comes natural.
This is the kind of fish I'm looking for. I don't like to look for small fish.
The bigger the better. I want to get one. I've been looking for one, I should say, for the last 3 or 4 years to go 70 pounds or better.
You know, not a lot of people want to go underwater, stick their hands in a hole where they can't see anything and get bit by something, you know, and that's basically what it is.
It's bare skin to bare skin. It's fingernails to teeth.
Easy way to catch fish if you can find them. Beats the heck out of sitting on the creek bank with a fishing pole all day long, never get a bite.
The concept of hand catching a fish is just not something that could be outlawed. I mean, we've got a gigantic industry that's geared to hooking them.
What's your favorite part of doing it?
Eating them, probably. Gotta go underwater and stay after them. It's no skill. You just can't be afraid of them. You just gotta, they'll come after you, they'll grab your hand and bite you. You gotta hang on.
What was that?
A turtle just bit me.
I think it started back in caveman days. They probably, didn't call it noodling. It was just their way of getting food. They didn't really have. I mean, now they had their spears and stuff. I'm sure they speared fish too.
Well, there's not a lot written about noodling that you can find at all. You look through early American documents and see a lot of stuff about Native American fishing. They would drug fish with buckeye or devil's shoestring. They would lasso them or spear them or create little cages for them out of bamboo or sticks, but there's not a lot about hand fishing. Well, the first account that I can recall I was able to find of noodling was from 1775 and was by this trader historian called James Adair. And he wrote a lot about the history of the South, and one of the things he mentioned was Indians would fish by wrapping a cloth around their forearm, diving into the water and going underneath the cave where the catfish would shield themselves from the scorching beams of the sun. And then they would wrestle with the fish and bring it up to the water.
The ones I know now that are still alive is Red and his nephew. That's the only two I know that are still alive. My wife's her family, her great uncle and some of his friends were noodlers.
That it's not something that you need to give up, because you don't need to give up something that's an age-old sport like noodling is.
Just pass it down, generation to generation. My dad's dad taught him, and it's just something that's been passed down basically. So might as well teach my kid too.
I think it's just a lost art. One of the things it's a culture thing. Maybe the older folks. A way that they could go fishing and have a good time, with the fathers and the sons and that kind of stuff. And in the modern age, you just don't see people doing stuff together like they used to. And I think back in the earlier days, folks had to entertain themselves.
There's a point in American history, I think, where fishing changed. And it went from being something that was a subsistence activity like hunting used to be, and it became a sport. And noodling was never something that was considered a true sport. I mean, it's something that is a good way to catch giant fish. It's incredibly challenging and sometimes dangerous, but it's a sport that you can go out on a fishing show and do, or that you can put something on a wall. It never reached that kind of status. It was too much of a cult activity.
She left me with a letter, so I rambled to that club uptown.
My name's Red, David Baggett. Everybody calls me Red. I work for the city of Lawton. We're going on 11 years now. I'm basically a truck driver, but we deal with garbage, or they call it solid waste, sanitation, whatever you want to call it. It's a hard job sometimes, but I like outside work. I like doing things with my hands. And, we work 4 days a week, so it gives me plenty of time to do my noodling, or noodling isn't in season, or do my regular fishing, whatever I want to do.
At the time I hit the door, he was on the floor, and I can't go back there again.
Hi, my name's Jerry Ryder. I'm head custodian and maintenance supervisor here at South Rock Creek School in Shawnee. I like working with my hands. Mainly, it's the feeling of every day is a different story. The ooh and the goo that I get into the school gives me some satisfaction knowing I can't be in the river, but I can still get my hands dirty. So I think that because I do like to get in the river and get muddy and play in the mud, I think that might be the connection with having to do with why I like custodial work. I'm not stuck in a classroom with clean fingernails. I get my hands dirty every day. In fact, I think most noodlers find a trade where they use their hands a lot.
Well, JB, could you put in a good word for me? Get in here.
I always had an appreciation for cars. I guess guys that work with their hands aren't really afraid of grabbing fish. I guess if you didn't use your hands, or your hands were used in a different profession or something, then you'd probably be afraid to reach into a hole and get a fish, let them get tore up.
I'm Lee McFarland, plumber by national trade. I've been doing it since I was in 2nd grade, got into it from my father's a plumber. Now he's our plumbing inspector, and he's one of my partners in noodling. So is my boy. He plumbed with us all summer too. Handed down tradition. I think the main reason the guys that actually do the noodling all have a hands trade is because it's a manly type deal. You don't see doctors, you don't see lawyers, you don't see big execs noodling because they're on the golf course. First job I ever had to do, Dad come and got me, and he had a 3-inch pipe like this with a P-trap in it for under a mobile home, had sticks down in it. He couldn't reach down here and get it. He come by and said, "You want to make 10 bucks?" I said, "Well, heck yeah." I went with him, reached down in there, turds and stuff, pulled it out, and after that, I've been plumbing ever since. You know, I was noodling one way or another, you're noodling.
Anybody can catch fish in a barrel and pull them out. I mean, they're big fish and they hurt, and you have to have some sort of some sense of being able to go in and take it. But when you're in a river and you're down under logs and you have snakes and turtles and beavers and all the other stuff in the river to contend with, when you catch a fish in the river, you almost lose all human instincts. Your human instincts are gone. You're not a human anymore. You're an animal. You turn into an animal, and you have to, or you'll get hurt. My favorite part of it is the thrill of the hunt and never knowing what you're going to get a hold of until you get a hold of it. And once you catch that fish or whatever it might be, there's not the adrenaline, but the thrill of the hunt is there. It's just, noodlers aren't just fishermen, they're hunters. They hunt for a living. A lot of my friends that go with me are excellent noodlers, but for some reason I seem to have a knack for catching more than they do, and I think I don't know what it is, but the fish, I don't know if they trust me or what, but I just seem to have a knack to catch more fish than most guys do.
He does catch anything and everything. He does it without the aid of gloves or rope under the water or anything else, and he will stick to a spot until he does catch the fish.
Bend them like that. Paralyzed fish there. I think I'll noodle till it die, if that's not what kills me. The scariest part is getting old. It hurts more than it used to. It used to be I get in and I catch fish, never bother me.
It's a rush to catch fish. You just crawl up in a hole or something, you know, feel a fish back in there. It sends a rush to your whole body.
So you guys noodlers as well?
Oh yeah, many years, many years. We had a friend who was out there noodling North Town right there below the hospital, and we were out there rod and reel fishing, and he decided he wanted to go out there and check one hole, and that's the last time we seen him. We found him about 5 hours later.
Highway fell on him?
Yeah, he was up in the center crack here.
Yep.
Got off in the hole and it got wedged.
Yep.
He was just in water. His head was about that far underwater. I walked right by him 4 or 5 times and never even did. The guy that was out there clamming in a boat found him. We had the Lake Patrol out there. They finally got a big old pry bar and pried it loose and broke his arm and got him out.
I do exactly what he did. I get in the old highways, and what you have is an old highway that has been under the water for years, and it leans down on both sides, which means it's sunken, and it has a gap in the middle of it. And when you reach your arm down in the gap of that middle of it, and if there's any loose highway there, this can come down on you and pinch your arm and hold you down into the water till you die, or you pull your arm off, which I would probably try to pull my arm off and get out of it before I die from it.
I've learned to know his breathing and his actions under the water, and I do watch. There have been a couple of occasions I've gone in and he has come up as I was going in because I thought he was under too long.
I almost had my body ripped up. I had cuts and contusions all over me from trying to get out of that bank and bleeding all over the place, but I ended up getting out, and that didn't stop me. I was still looking for the fish. I hadn't caught the fish, so I was still looking for the fish. So I dug the bank out and caught the fish. It was kind of like I had a quest. It was either me or the fish. And no matter what the dangers are, I still went in and caught the fish.
Noodling's not just catching big fish with your hands, it's catching anything with your hands. And snakes is just a part of it. See how he's bloodied my hands?
It doesn't really hurt?
No, it doesn't hurt. It's like a little hypodermic needle. And eventually I'll tame him. He'll quit biting.
Jerry Ryder's been known, he's been on Dave Letterman, several other shows for hand fishing because he does it the most natural way. Jerry goes out and fishes under rocks and brush piles. And he's like a little kid. He wants to get into everything. You just can't keep him out of it, like handling snakes and stuff. Jerry just real energetic, so when he got into this noodling, they made a film of it and they took him to Dave Letterman, and that was quite a show. I seen it with Jerry on it.
Noodling is going nationwide. Jerry will appear on the David Letterman show this week.
Jerry Ryder, who catches fish with his bare hands, will show everyone how it's done on national television tomorrow.
How many guys can say they've been on national TV talking about a sport they love? At one time, I was in the news for probably 2 weeks. There was a time that every night on the news, I came in and I saw myself on the news. I mean, it was like a fantasy come true. Because of all the news and the stuff I was going through and all the talk shows and radio, I was losing the aspect of being able to actually go out and do it. So I kind of left all that just to go out and get back into the fishing. I got out of the public eye, I got out of the media, and went back out and fished, and I was happy again. I wear a wetsuit during this time, which insulates me from the cold. I have a stock tank behind my house, and as the temperature goes down, I'll continually get in it without my wetsuit or until I'm numb.
Crazy man?
Yeah, what do you think about his fishing tactics?
He ain't very smart. I wouldn't go with him. He ain't safe. I mean, if you're crazy, that's one thing. But, man, he takes too many chances. There's too much stupidity there. And I don't know the man from Adam. He walk up here today, I wouldn't know him. But just what I seen and what he talks about, half the stuff what he says is bull. I mean, I don't buy half that. I've done this since I was a kid. There ain't no way. But still, I wouldn't go the places he goes because beavers and the snakes, it ain't worth it. That's just like out here. There's beavers here. That hole over there, it went up and started going in there. Back out, get out of there. No fish that I know of lives above water. So why go there and play? I don't think he's smart. I know you guys have videoed him. That's fine. But believe you me, I wouldn't even go and run the camera for him.
I'm Art McFarland. I'm 62, soon be 63, and I've been noodling ever since I was 18. And gosh, I don't know how many kinfolks that noodle. I imagine about 25, 30 of us that noodle.
What are we in for today, Lee?
Who knows? They went Saturday and they only caught one and it was a little blue. That's the most scaring experience when you're a kid, watching your dad do it. You sit on the rocks like you guys was today and feel him shaking it. It gets in your blood. I mean, it's not for the weak at heart. Guys that go with me, like Jeff and them, I teach them, I tell them, I said, this ain't a spectator sport. You've got to actually get in here and get after it.
You got him? Hey, it's about time.
Hey, you're hitting me. He's over here. Because just watching it ain't no fun. You know, it's you against Mother Nature, one-on-one. When you can catch that fish and bring it out, you've done something. Heck, you ask people, they think you're crazy or nuts if you're going to do it. And to me, it's the easiest fishing form there is. I mean, when you ain't got to have no rod and reel, all you got to do is have a way to get in the water. What else can you use?
The McFarlands make up 3 generations of hand fishermen. At age 10, Lee McFarland was taught to noodle by his father, Art. Lee now teaches his son, Justin, and anyone else daring enough to tag along. On this day, the McFarlands caught over 20 fish.
He must have a hold of him.
Oh, good.
Push that boat back. Push that boat back.
Got him?
Keep the hole covered.
There's another one right behind him.
I got to put in there.
This is big. Okay, watch out.
You got a string of things?
I got it through both sides, right here. Grab it right here, take your boat.
Oh, yeah. You got the hole?
I got part of it. Wait. Hold on. You got this right here, Mark?
I don't have
Somebody grab right here where I got the stringer. Now, go. Get rid of that one. There's another one in there.
Grab his tail and you won't move.
I got the hoe block. There's another one in there right on his head. I have 2 heads. I have 2 heads.
I can believe it. I felt both of them. Oh, there he is.
Rod and reel for guys fish. They think we're crazy. They think it's stupid to get in there and get bit. They never tried it. They look at it different if they tried it.
You guys ever been worried about him in a situation?
No. Sometimes you wonder. Just about time you start wondering, he'll pop up.
I got it back.
When I seen Lee dive off the boat and then Justin dove just like him right off the boat, it really scared me because I'm not sure what's in those waters like Lee and Justin do. I'm terrified that they'll hit a rock and not come up, but they know them well enough that that's something that I shouldn't even worry about.
How old were you when you first started and who taught you?
I was about 7 or 8. I just wanted to try it. I told Dad I wanted to go out noodling with him one day, and he said, all right, hop in the boat, but this time you ain't swimming. I get in there and he puts me on a couple of them, and I come out screaming and hollering, and I'm bloody from head to toe, but after that it just catches your attention. You just got to go back for more.
He's got him. Mark needs him. I'm with you.
You want me to get his tail? Okay.
Oh, shit. What did you think that first time when he came home?
Very, very proud that Lee would give him the opportunity to actually feel the fish and experience some of the experiences Lee has by noodling.
Would you ever consider doing it yourself?
One time he got me to block a hole. He got me to put my foot in the hole. And when the fish wanted out, I let it. That was the end of it for me. It touched my foot and I was gone.
Have you ever done it yourself?
Right after we married, he asked me to just block holes. And so I did, and I felt the fish come across my fingers, and out my hands went, and hadn't put them back in there since.
Why not?
Scared me. The slippery feeling's not something I really like putting my hands on.
You don't think you'll ever try it?
I might. Just gotta give him some time.
How many people you've taught to noodle over the years?
30, 40, right here where my foot's at.
Okay. Is it important to you to keep noodling alive and teach as many people as you can?
I love it. I enjoy it because it's right up at my foot. Okay, now listen. The hoe's in there, and there's a stick up. What you're going to do is you're going to go in there with that hand, and you're going to spank that fish, and you'll run up here. When you get him up there to the edge, grab a hold of him, and reach over and tap my foot, and I'll come down and help you get him out.
Okay.
Nothing like getting broke in. Yeah. To me, it's second nature. It's easy to do, but a lot of people can't do it. Ain't felt it?
There he is.
Is that there by you?
He thinks like the fish does. I mean, that's hard to believe, but he does a lot of deer hunting too. He knows the fish's way of thinking. He knows the deer's way of thinking. And in order to be successful at something like that, you have to know those things. He can catch fish when nobody else is catching fish.
Dana, reach right here in my hand and see what this is. What he was, you had to pull your stick back. He was bedded up here. Once they get over your stick, you got to remember to pull it out and come back behind and reach down here. He's right there. Hand me a stringer. See, here's why I grab them where I grab them. See, there ain't no teeth right there. You get them like that, they can't hurt you. There ain't no teeth.
What's your favorite part of doing it?
Getting bit, probably.
Great grain.
Do you think it's good for him as far as growing up?
Yes, I do. It teaches him responsibility because he does know that if he helps catch fish, it doesn't take just one person to catch the fish. It's a group effort. Therefore, Justin can't go in the house and play or take a shower or go to bed or anything. He has to stand out here until all the fish are cleaned and washed and put in the freezer. It teaches him a lot.
What exactly happened, Red?
Well, I had my legs up in the hole. Those fish too far back to reach by hand. Try to get them to come up on your foot when you can pull them toward you. But instead of really coming up on my foot, he caught me sideways on my ankle and got me twice.
I hate this. God, I do. Look, they're way out there. If they get stuck, then what? Something happens, then what? I want him around for a long time. I don't want him to get hurt and drowned in underwater. I hate noodling. Oh my God.
You get worried about David?
All the time.
What do you worry about?
I don't know, like, he was telling me the story about where a fish was jammed into a hole and he had to rip his hand out to come up for some air. And it's kind of scary because, you know, why if one of these days he can't get his hand out and he just drowns under there? I mean, stuff like that. I guess to him he might say it's stupid for me to worry, but because he's been doing it for so long, but I do. It's just me. Wait, I can't be swimming there.
Got him?
I got one.
Oh my God.
James, get over there.
Can you pull him up, Dave?
Can I pull him up?
James, you're going to have to get right there and run that right through, bottom jaw.
Come over here on my right shoulder.
Right.
My right.
Yeah.
Right.
And this right over here.
Right,
Okay, reach right down there, you'll feel my hand.
Right in the truck.
Dave had this fish with both hands and couldn't let go. Red was blocking the other end of the hole and couldn't move. They needed our help to catch the fish.
He does. He gets back on the back side.
Now I'm going to move out of the way. And I'm going to let him hold on.
David?
Yes, sir.
What happened when you were freaking out there for a second?
He ran into my belly and was trying to push me out, and I was trying to wrestle with him to hold on to him and shove him back in that hole so I could get a hold of his jaw. And that's kind of what happened. I mean, that's a pretty sad old fish.
Can you pull him up again so we can take a look at him?
I guess him about 40 pounds. He might go a little over. He might go close to 45. Thanks, James.
It was getting a close.
Fish may go close to 50 pounds.
This way.
God dang, I didn't realize he was that big. Not real fast, though.
That hot dog going somewhere.
You better watch what you say. Don't get out there.
Have you guys ever seen a fish this big before?
Oh, hell yeah.
So have you ever noodled before?
Yep.
Yeah?
Back when it wasn't legal.
But he darn near pushed me out of that hole.
Yeah. We took a little block of wood, put a piece of dynamite on it, and floated it out there, and we brought up a 100-pounder that way.
With a piece of dynamite?
Yeah.
Where do you get dynamite?
Well, the place is still in existence, so I won't say.
Wouldn't you blow the fish up, though?
No, it just
No.
concussion knocks them out.
It just knocks them out, and they float up.
Dynamite?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
The first time I saw Bass Masters, I thought, well, why isn't there Catfish Masters? Why don't we have a catfish tournament? Why are we just catching bass all the time?
I'm going to say those are bass fishermen. They're some kind of tournament going on there. There's no noodling tournaments. You know, that's a problem we have.
Why hasn't there been a noodling tournament before?
Nobody has taken enough interest to put it together, and when you talk about putting catfish tournaments together, whether it's noodling or rod and reeling, is because so many people's afraid there's going to be so much dishonesty to it. It's like stun guns, gaff hooks, aqua lungs, instead of just air tanks, instead of just doing it naturally by hand, and that's the way the old timers used to do it, and that's the way most of it's done today.
Nobody likes a noodler. Why? I don't know, because I think it takes more, what do you want to say, guts to reach in there and get a hold of one of them big fish, because you're in his environment. He said noodlers are like carp or drum. They're bottom feeders. They're the trash. They're the scum suckers. They're the cleanup off the bottom. They're the lowest of the totem pole as far as the bass fishermen, your tournament trout fishermen, your walleye, all this. Noodlers are the very last to be talked to or heard about.
Do you believe that?
Really, it's true.
Bass fishermen have their $1 million tournaments, TV personalities, and super tackle shows, but the noodlers get almost no attention. When we learned there'd never been a tournament for hand fishermen, we decided to host the first annual Okie Noodling tournament.
Why is that?
How you doing, guys?
Good to see you. We're already rolling on you here, man.
Oh, great. Good timing. Yelling at me.
There's the flyers for the tournament and all the...
Right.
I thought you could put up a few around town. You might know some bait shops and then put some down at Eufaula.
We had Red, David, Jerry, and Lee all signed up for the tournament. But our biggest problem was finding enough men who actually noodle.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. You work here?
Yes.
I was going to see if we could put up this flyer. It's for a noodling tournament that we're doing in Pauls Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind if I...
No, that's fine. Just put it right here.
So, any noodlers come in?
Yeah, there's quite a few that come in here. They buy bait from me when the river's too high to noodle. My dad had a friend several years ago was noodling the Washita River, and I don't noodle myself because he got a hold of a beaver and it tore his arm up. It didn't just bite him once. I mean, it gnawed his whole arm up.
Y'all know anybody that noodles? Or?
No, sir. Well, I did it till I got smart enough that I wouldn't do it anymore. When I was your age, I did it.
The tournament. I'm kind of excited about it. I'm hoping that everybody's got the same amount of water to have to go into as I do. It was really looking good there for a while. It looks good now. The water's deep. That'll keep some of the amateur guys out and let the. I'm not saying I'm a professional, but I don't mind this deep water. I don't go crazy over it, but I think it's going to make for a good noodling year.
And I think that there's going to be some guys out there trying to win the tournament with an illegal fish, just like they do in Bassmasters. Now, they say they don't, but they do.
Never heard of one like it. I've always wanted to put one on. Yeah, I'm excited, and I'll be in it. I'll be down there.
Any predictions?
No. Depends.
They're really defensive. Watch this. I've been bit by rattlesnakes. I've been bit by copperhead once before. 4 times by rattlesnakes, actually. And, of course, I used to hunt them, so. For some reason, I seem to attract the snakes. I was at my cabin at Eufaula, and I had some concrete block there, and I was messing around. Well, actually, I was just messing around someplace I shouldn't have been. I was messing with snakes and stuff, and I've messed with them before. And I had a copperhead tag me on my finger and put me in the hospital.
I knew he knew better, but I also knew that he could take the bite. If I could get him to a doctor to get the right antibiotics in him, that he was going to be okay.
Hope you had a great 4th of July. Hey, there's more fun coming up in Pauls Valley this Saturday, July the 8th. It is the first annual Okie Noodling Tournament, Fish Fry, and Festival. This Saturday the 8th at Bob's Pig Shop in Pauls Valley. Event sponsors are going to award over $1,500 in prizes for this Oklahoma hand fishing event.
This is a sport that's been around for 100 years.
Yeah, you might have heard of noodling in the past, or maybe you've even witnessed the art of hand fishing for yourself. But Galen Culver spent most of Saturday covering a first ever contest for noodlers, and the results are amazing.
I don't even know of any catfish contest anywhere, and I think we're creating some history here today.
The fish need to be brought to Bob's Pig Shop in Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. The deadline for weigh-in is 7:30 in the evening. We have about 40 people that are signed up, and all of those folks are out there doing their best to catch the largest fish they can or the most fish they can. The borders of the state of Oklahoma are open. You know, that's the dividing line. Anything within that geographical area is fair game.
All you're supposed to noodle is flatheads. Blues and channels and more whites are considered a game fish. You're not supposed to catch noodling. You catch them on fishing poles. All your flatheads have to be at least 24 inches long, and you're only allowed 3 fish per person. So then you got to have fishing license on you.
The rules are hand catching only, no trot lines or other line caught fish, and we really have to kind of go by the honor system on that. Although if they were going to cheat, that's just the way it'd be.
Despite his recent snake bite, Jerry decides to noodle his familiar creeks on tournament day.
I think there's going to be There's a lot. I do know there's several certified divers that are entered in the tournament, and I have a feeling that there's going to be some tanks used, and which is.
You think that's wrong?
Well, I think it's against the law. The Oklahoma hands-only fishing noodling law. I mean, that's not noodling. If you use tanks, you know, anybody can use a tank and go down and hold their breath and find a fish. Oh. Guess what, guys?
What?
That's a hole, and it goes down. There'll be a catfish in there.
Oh, by the way, I was told I could do this because it's in the state regulations. You can't use scuba gear to grab fish. It's not a city approved thing, but
By 9 a.m. on tournament day, David and Red had already caught 3 fish over 35 pounds.
But I'll tell you what, I'd probably put him up against any of the better in the state. He's not just saying that because he's my nephew, but he's pretty damn good. I've seen him get fish that I know I couldn't get.
I feel pretty good that we've got our 3 fish. We're going to see if we can't get a little bigger fish, but that one, actually those 2 aren't bad. Those 2 aren't too bad, so I don't know how the other guys are doing. The water's still up around the creeks and rivers. We may have them because they can't get to it.
We've got just about as good a chance as anyone does, because what we've been hearing is in some of the rivers there's not that big a fish, but where we noodle at there are. So I'd say the odds will come out good. Dad thinks he can walk away with the prize, but I don't know.
Lee and family have caught 9 fish and should be in the running for largest stringer.
Ready?
Good fish. There are so many guys out there that have better spots than I do to catch fish. And if I can get in those spots, if I can find the fish, then I stand a good chance of winning.
Because of all the water that we've had, all the rain, it's been nearly impossible in the areas that he normally goes in. So I'm hoping for some miracle that he can find some fish.
Welcome to Oklahoma's first catfish noodling tournament. Are these some exciting fish here? Man.
What was the attraction for this tournament? Why did you decide to come out today?
Curiosity more than anything. I mean, let's face it, somebody that catches fish with their bare hands, that's something that's kind of curious. Not everybody does something like that.
Huh? Oh, you got me beat. You got me beat. I ain't got one near that big.
How big?
I'm gonna guess him around 40, 45.
Still a good fish.
It's not a bad fish.
Oh, you're almost right. Let's see. 44. 44.
What do you go, Dave? 44. 44. You pleased?
Not really.
Not really?
Not really.
Oh, we did good. We got our limit.
Yeah, what kind of fish?
We got 9 flatheads.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll win big, but we might win big stringer.
Are you pleased with the outcome?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We did good. I mean, real good.
That's a real good, cleaned out sandy hole. And this, my leg goes plumb to the back of it. There ain't no fish. Somebody's done been down here noodling, I believe.
Well, yeah, there's still guys out there looking. I suppose it's they've got a little more time left, and they'll probably about 20 people have brought in fish so far, and then roughly 20 to 25 are still looking.
This is the day of the tournament, and I still have not caught any fish for the tournament, but I'm not discouraged. I feel like I will. I hope some of these other noodlers do better than I do, but it's one of those deals where, you know, if you caught fish every day you went out, then there wouldn't be any fish left.
Yes, Jerry got bit by a copperhead last week, and it really surprised me that he come in and decided to go ahead and noodle, but Jerry is a born-bred noodler. He does it for enjoyment, so he's not going to give up real easy. He's going to give him a run for the money.
In my lifetime, few though my years may be, I learned you don't get anything for nothing. Somehow nothing ain't always
5'4", 54.
When we first caught it, we weighed it, it weighed 58, and we caught a 33, a 25, a couple 21s, and 17.
Can we see the big one?
Yeah, sure.
What's the controversy? What's the deal?
We got two fish that are identical right now, so we're going to have to reweigh them somehow.
They're different scales?
Well, no, we weighed them both on the same scale.
And Mike, who's the lead now?
Josh Morgan, in regards to the big fish, he's got it. As far as overall poundage, I'm not sure yet.
How much is that weigh?
It's 54 pounds.
Where'd you catch it?
North Canadian River.
I got my fish there first before they had the scales set up, and then when I got there they said it weighed almost 51. And then they weighed the other big fish, but they had switched scales, so I wanted a chance to weigh my fish on the other scales because I thought it was bigger than that. And when they reweighed it, they weighed the same exactly.
You could end up with a beaver bite in the web of your hand like this, you know. But you can end up with a mighty big fish on the end of your hand, on the end of your arm. And on a contest day like this, you know, the best man doesn't always win. But the luckiest guy on the day of the contest, who was best with the fish that he had an opportunity to grapple out of the water, is going to win. And Danny King's going to tell us who did that feat today.
We're going to announce the winner. We got a split on the big fish with 54 pounds between Josh Marson and Tim Suki. The biggest stringer goes to Tim Suki. He had it.
Tell us the weight on those stringers, too.
The stringer on the biggest stringer was 114 pounds. Folks, that's a lot of fish for one day. And these guys getting these with their hands, you know, I make my own bait. I'm not sticking my hand in nothing. Places for bigger stringers is Lee McFarland, 112 pounds even. 2 little ounces off. He's going to get him next year. He done got his strategy planned out. David Baggett, 109 pounds.
Well, I thought I had it won. I thought I had the biggest stringer because, like I said, the highest weight was 109 before I weighed in. I weighed in at 720. Nobody weighed in after me. And I come up with 112. And miraculously, they come with 115, 112 too. I don't know how they come up with that, and we was asking, but nobody could answer it.
In fact, I was almost thinking maybe this might be my retirement year right here. You know, the water's getting colder. You know, I'm nearly 55 years old, and you know, you get that old arthritis creeps up on you, and like I say, the water gets colder, and you know, your joints kind of ache and hurt more, and old fish beat you up a little more.
I guess, like I said, all my life, I've always thought I was the best noodler around. And I guess the tournament, I was glad to come along and see some guys come along and prove me wrong. I'm not the best. Well, I'm one of the best. But I found out there are guys as good as I am, so, and I'm glad they are. Because that means that there's a whole breed out there of me.
What began as a bizarre fascination with the folklore of hand fishing somehow became a familiar understanding with the waters and the people where I come from. Like Uncle Red told us, when you get bit, you either want nothing to do with it or it's in your blood. I'm afraid it's in my blood.
Yeah, he got it.
Funding for this program was provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.